Book 222. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Morning Motivation with Matthew Daniels, and today I'm going to tell you guys about the real witch doctor of the slave plantation. That's right, the real witch doctor of the slave plantation. But what is Matthew Daniels talking about? A long time ago, in the area of the earth that we call Alabama today, several of my ancestors lived on a slave plantation under the most extreme conditions. From the age of 10 until they fell dead in the fields, they would work hard for no pay, being threatened with torture or death if they ever refused. Many of my ancestors were beaten, battered, and bruised, and sadly, many of them were also killed by the wicked slave owners. Also, the conditions within the slave quarters were unsanitary, and no matter how much my ancestors would clean, they often fell sick. And while working in the fields, they suffered snake bites, dehydration, bee stings, and multiple infections from wounds that they could not properly bandage up. On virtually every plantation, there were old women who would tend to the sick and injured, and they would do their best to keep their people healthy. Some of these women, who have been labeled as witch doctors, were more proficient than others, and they were born with the natural ability to heal. I was told many stories about these days when my people were enslaved, and I have sought to preserve these oral records to the best of my ability so that their existence shall not fade away from memory. One of my ancestors, I was told, was a powerful sorcerer of sorts, but in those days she was called a witch doctor. This ancestor was born with what they then called the powers. When she was young, she would often see shadowy figures of people that others could not see. And when she looked at the people on the plantation with her, she would often see colors seeming to emanate from their bodies. No one believed she could see these things, however, and many of them called her a liar. One day, the master of this plantation went out and brought 5 new slaves. One of them was a woman who was recently captured directly from Africa. This African woman, while walking around the slave quarters one day, saw my ancestor playing with a doll made of sticks, and she gasped loudly. She has the powers, the African woman proclaimed, pointing a finger at my ancestor. The African woman was trained in the ways of the witch doctors of Africa, and she too was born with the powers. She explained that my ancestor was special, and she immediately took her under her wing and began to teach her the craft which she learned in Africa. The most profound thing I heard that my ancestor did was this. One day, a Negro man named Ned was working near a large tree and saw a snake. Ned hollered out in fear and took off running. Seeing him running away, the overseer, who was a particularly cruel man, thought he was trying to escape to freedom, so he raised his pistol and shot Ned in the back of the head. Everyone in the field cried out that he was not trying to flee, but it was too late. They called to the African woman and my ancestor, and the two of them rushed out to the fallen body of Ned. My ancestor then, without thinking, placed her hands on the bloody head of Ned, who laid there lifeless, and she cried as she did everything she was taught to do. She kept her hands on his head for 5 full minutes, and then Ned somehow came back to the land of the living, and his wound was healed. Everyone was in awe of what they witnessed, and from that day forward, they all believed that my ancestor was a real witch doctor with the powers. And so, the morning motivation of today is the real witch doctor of the slave plantation. Know for a fact that you will be doubted before you are believed, and you will be ridiculed before you are praised. Do not lose faith in yourself because of this. Stay strong in who you know you are, and ignore those who cannot see your greatness. Today, go out into the world and achieve your dreams, and always strive to do that which is good. And remember, you are awesome, you are amazing, you are wonderful, and you are great. And you are going to change the world. I just hope I'm still alive to see it, family. I'm out. Good morning.